Kia ora. My name is Annah and this is my 2014 sustainability presentation. Today I will be discussing the concepts of sustainability and sustainable development, ways I practice sustainability in my own life, and ways I incorporate sustainability in my practice as a social service worker. I hope you enjoy this presentation. The first question I will be discussing is, what does sustainability mean to me? In my opinion, sustainability begins with preservation. Preserving and nurturing what good things have been put in place by past generations, but also looking beyond that and thinking about future generations and the impact that our actions might have on them in the future. Preservation adds value to what we might take for granted, provides for what we might need, and helps us prepare for the unexpected. Sustainable development, as defined by the Brundtland Commission, is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This is so interesting, as it means that in order to be sustainable, we have to be consciously aware of what we do in our current generation, because there is no doubt that it will impact on the indefinite future. I think that in order to understand sustainability, we also have to have an awareness of the resources that we use in our day-to-day life. That goes for our natural resources, such as our water, our energy, where our food comes from. Despite the fact that our expenditure is so high, we cannot be self-sustaining, but because there is a human tendency to forget that we are not independent of nature, also forgetting the necessities that our natural environment provides for us. Sustainability and sustainable development involve the integration of social, environmental, and economic factors within society. In the world that we live in, these three factors are the main contributors to our overall human well-being and quality of life, highlighting the codependent society in which we live in. While there are a range of models that represent these factors, each of these are slightly different in the way they are interpreted, based on which factor is viewed by the individual as most important. When looking at sustainability from a social perspective, it is noted that it is important that we have access to good working conditions, access to health and education services, community involvement in culture, and social justice. This is the ideal, but we still have a long way to go despite the progress that we are making. Some examples of environmental sustainability involve reducing waste or pollution, renewable energy, and conservation and restoration. Environmental sustainability involves making decisions and taking action that are in the best interests of protecting our natural environment. In doing that, we are also protecting human life. Economically, the overall goal when it comes to sustainability is establishing a long-term profit. To get to that point, we're starting from the bottom and we're trying to ensure that everyone has good jobs, fair wages, security, infrastructure, and fair trade. It's also important that the resources are used responsibly, which means making a profit but not creating environmental or social problems along the way. In the combination of all these factors, we have the potential for development because they are all coinciding with one another and are in their own cycle. One's definition of sustainability and quality of life are all dependent on the individual, which can make it hard to pinpoint what factors are of most importance. Our understanding of sustainability can be confusing at times, which is why there have been specific models created to help us grasp the concept easier. I will be discussing the three-legged stool model, the three overlapping circles model, and the three nested dependencies model to show that each one is slightly different, but they generally sit on the same terms of combining environment, economics, and social. The three-legged stool model is one that describes the three dimensions that are required to live a high-quality life. All the legs are of the same length, illustrating that if one is weak or broken, there is likely to be a discourse in any potential development if it is not restored. Also, because they are of the same length, it shows that they are all of the same importance, and that not one is less important than the other. The three overlapping circles model acknowledges that there is an intersection of economic, social, and environmental factors, but depending on where we sit personally, the circles are resized to show that one factor is more dominant than the other two, implying that one may be able to exist independently of them. The three nested dependencies model shows that human society and the economy are products from the environment, which is the largest circle, and without the natural resources that it brings, nothing else would be developed. The second question in this video is, how do I practice sustainability in my own life? And how might I apply the concepts of sustainability into my maintenance of work and life balance in social services? I think the core part of sustainable development and self-sustainability begins with our values. To be self-sustained, you have to start from the basics. You have to have self-awareness, an understanding as to why you do something, and a drive to see anything you want to do through. As individuals, we have a duty of care to the environment that we live in, which means that we have to be honest with ourselves and with others about the issues that are arising within our society. You need to be patient and take the time to learn about the needs that are being raised, and also understand that it might take a while before change starts to occur. It involves faith in a soul or core belief, or range of beliefs, to keep you grounded when things don't always go to plan. Sustainability is a concept that is ongoing. There are no stop-starts. Real sustainability involves people, whether it is individuals or a range of people within corporations, recognizing that there are no quick fixes and understanding that corporations impact on the natural environment, their own workforces, and society at large, from the choice of suppliers, materials, waste and pollution, financial systems, customer service, and work policies and practices. In my own life, I make a conscious effort to be mindful of the environment by recycling, picking up rubbish, and walking as often as I can as opposed to driving. I belong to a wide range of social groups within work and church and my friends, and build many relationships within them, and also try to eat food that isn't processed, and I try to buy fair trade products as well. Often you don't realize what simple things make a difference, when really they do add up. In my work as a social services worker, I do a range of things that contribute to sustainability, even though I didn't realize it at the time. One of the things that I do is practice self-care regularly. To do it, I create a self-care plan, coming up with a range of things to do in order to maintain a sense of wellness and what coping strategies I have in place when I feel unwell. It applies to sustainability because it is showing that I am self-sustainable and I am aware of what I need for myself personally so I can perform better as a professional. Another thing that I would do as a social service worker is the integration and development of community. How would I do it? Through networking, building relationships with the micro, meso, and macro systems. It applies to sustainability because it impacts every aspect, whether it be social, environmental, or economic. The roles and responsibilities I would have would be to constantly be making an effort with people, to build relationships, to find ways to grow in communities. My final example of how I'd practice sustainability in my work as a social service worker is by using a model of practice. I would do it by finding ways within my model that my client could relate to and that I was congruent with. It applies to sustainability because it's based on needs of not only others, but my own. I'm working in a way that doesn't put anyone at risk of harm or have the potential for risk of harm. It's empowering others to be self-sustainable in their own lives and figure out what strengths they have and also what needs improvement. My roles and responsibilities would be to constantly reflect on what I was doing and how my client would respond to these tools that I used. Some would be better than others, so I would develop new strategies appropriately. This is the end of my video. Thank you for watching.